Okay, so the other layer that we are teaching you, so we've taught you the square increase, we're going to teach you the directional increase, okay? So both are good, both have their own uses, both are designed for different lengths and looks and all of that. So you'll work that out. The more you cut hair, the more you kind of work out what it needs. So this one is probably something that you're going to more commonly do rather than the square one. The square one's really nice on possibly like shoulder length hair. So this one, we're going to start in the center. Again, our guide is going to be about the width of our comb there. Okay, so we're going to come and take our center section. So again, I use my comb for this. Don't use your clips. Keep it nice and neat and professional. Okay, so instead of bringing this up square, we're going to bring this out to the curve of the head, okay? So this little guy here is being combed out from the curve of the head, and we're looking at how much we want to take off. So I'm going to pretty much look at taking that amount off. So when that sits, it'll have a stacked blended layer, whereas the square layer can kind of have more of a hard line. Oh, my little pin's coming out. Let's anchor that one back in. Okay, so again, working with small sections of hair, you don't want to have all the hair in your hands, you're going to get overwhelmed. And we're going to cut this off. Cool, so that's the first bit. Then you're going to take that front bit away and you're going to pick up a next bit, okay? So combing that out from the head, and we're going to cut that. Cool. So I'm going to keep this angle. So I'm going to pop that away and then I'm going to start to bring everything up to that point. I don't want to start to follow the shape of the head. That's like a layering system that you can do, but it's possibly not the best on super long hair. Okay. So then I'm just going to take that little guy off. So that's our center guide. So you can see that it sits a little bit softer than the last system. So I'm going to divide that in half. So same sectioning pattern. The only thing that we did different with this one is we didn't create that first center guide. Then you're going to pick up half new hair and you've got half your guide. You can see I flick my comb around. I just do that. And if I had like really thick curly hair, I'd probably go in with like my finer part to grab it. But if I've got nice hair that's kind of behaving, I can just work with my wider part of my comb. Okay. So again, making sure I'm not shifting into the middle, I'm just coming out from the curve of the head and I'm finding my guide. So see my guide there? I'm going to cut straight on that. Give it a good old comb, making sure that you haven't missed anything. I got a little nib there. I'm going to come and cut him off. Taking that away. Grabbing another section. And remember, we want to start to lift this up and away, so we don't want to come out through here. So keeping that nice roundness of the head. Little smidge. Cut him up. Cool. So then we're going to divide. And we'll be left with the last bit of our hair. See my guides there? We're going to cut straight on that. You'll find too, when you're first used to cutting, it's all a bit new to you, you're kind of quite stressed and you want to hold on to everything. And what I find is that everybody's fingers start to slide and then you're chasing the hair. So the best thing to do is to just try and hold it still. Try and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible and then come and cut that off. Cool. Bringing that bottom bit up. And then just that little guy. Okay, so that's that side. So we're going to divide that down the center, part it, section it, whatever you want to call it. Put it over because we're going to tackle this bit, but I'm going to come around that side. That way I'm facing my guide. And then we're literally going to do the same thing again. Okay, so trying to get this little bit of hair. Okay, so following that same guide. Now, if you're combing the hair and you can't see the guide when you're bringing it up, don't cut it. It just means you might not be holding it in the right angle, or your section might be too big, or it might be too small and there might not be any hair cut off. So there's a few little things that you've got to take in mind. See the guide clearly there? And we're going to cut straight on that. Okay, and then direct that over. And we're going to pick up some new hair. And look, you'll feel comfortable more so on one side and less comfortable on the other side. I would recommend getting rid of your least comfortable side first. It's kind of like eating your veggies first with your dinner. You save your meat or whatever is the best bit till last. So that's that guy. Then I'm going to divide him in half. You probably could do this in one big old section. I just think for the sake of the video, I'm just going to be a little bit more fussy and I'm going to just divide that into two. That way we're just going to be clearly seeing our guide. Okay, so you don't want to be working with big old chunky sections. You'll never be able to see what you're doing. Also too, your haircut will be super uneven. Okay, guide's there. I'm going to cut straight on that. And then same for this one. Looks like there's a little bit more hair to cut off this side. That's weird. It's just because they're punched in by a machine. They're so not consistent. That's why it's great to practice on these, but you don't want to get used to just practicing on a mannequin. You really need to get live models. It's so important. And you've got to do things a number of times before you feel comfortable. Last section. Getting rid of him. Combing this little guy up. Yeah, you can definitely see there was way more hair to cut on this side. Cool. So that's that bit. I'm going to come back over that side just because I feel more comfortable over there. And I'm going to show you how to cross-check. So you don't want to cross-check it like we did the last one. You don't want to bring it up square because you didn't cut it up square. So we want to bring it all out this way. So again, we cut our sections vertically. We're going to check it horizontally. So it's literally just going back the opposite direction of what you did. And look, you'll see people cutting their cross-checking and all of that. And look, that's something you can definitely do. Let's just not do it at the start of our learning. Okay. You can see I've got a nice little round bit. Got a little bit of shedding from the hair, but that's not anything that I've missed, which is good. So combing all of this hair up. And you just going to have a look. Let's make sure there's no hair falling out. Cool. And that's your cross check. So you can see here, that's our directional increase, and it's just a lot softer.